did it was my thought that the board probably didn't want me stepping on its toes and making decisions in something like this. What occurred is in February, the Brickhouse forwarded to us an expansion, which is somewhere over there, the proposal. And it proposed for them to take in 2 buildings adjacent to it, to add a garden area, as it was described to us, and add a balcony, make additional balcony areas. And that's all it said. It did not include anything else. Last month, Sunday before the board meeting, I from Jumper, sorry, Jumper Sun every day, and in the Sun was a newspaper article which described the Brickhouse as it exists, but it also described that the expansion would include, I'll have my underlined copy, a beer garden, which is not described to us in any way, offered to us in any way, some massive stage that is not described to us in any way, proposed to us, pitched to us, told anything about, a liquid lounge that he chose not to elaborate on, other than it was something truly unique and that will compete heads up with anything in Memphis, Little Rock, or even Dallas. The explanation to me, and again, I don't hold this out as fact, is that has something to do with some large wall of beer, something that would look something like Flying Saucer Memphis. Now, I say that was pure speculation, and as opposed to doing anything, I'd rather let Dr. Johnson just explain to y'all so we can make sure that, I think he's invested a large amount of money and has started some work on this, and I'm sure he would like to stay moving forward if at all possible, and that's the basic situation. I'll answer any questions before we let Dr. Johnson kind of tell his deal.
Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Director, I, as one of the people who led, was in our interpretation of law in granting this gentleman his permit, I think we did put a lot, we expected a lot out of you and expected you to be setting a big example there in the city of Jonesboro. This has particularly made it a little harder on our director here. I don't know whether you got caught up in the enthusiasm of the moment or what's going on, but I think I'm one of the people that talk to the director and talk to the chairman here that we need a real good answer as to what you're trying to do up here. You're in a dry county, and we just need a very good example. And I sure appreciate the director, chairman, wanting to get this back in here and look at it.
It sure seems like you're stretching what we agreed to, which was just a sit-down, fine dining.
Yeah, we heard you say a lot about
with
restaurants.
liquor only if the meal was served.
Let's hear.
Yeah, let's hear from the
I'd like to thank you guys for letting me come today and sort of clear some of these matters up. I definitely understand your concerns, and I respect them wholeheartedly. I think this is a good use of my time, and I hate that I had to be on your dock with your busy people, and I apologize for having to even appear before you to rush up some of these things. Let me take these things in order. First of all, we talked earlier about the chairman mentioned the article in the paper, and that seemed to be some of the stimulus and kind of get a misperception of where Brickhouse has been and where Brickhouse is headed. I have a letter here from the writer of the article, 6 copies. Peggy sent these to the board, quoted in the paper, and you're welcome to call her. I explained a garden area, a terrace area, as I explained it to you, as I did in my initial drawings. This is the initial proposal which I submitted with pictures, explanations, and diagrams of what it would look like. I have with me today their choice with that. That is fine with me. I submitted it as that because I wanted your approval to do that. There's no taps run up there. There's no type of distribution, coolers up there for distribution or anything else. It is misquoted in the paper, and I hope that letter sort of clears that part of it up. The stage situation was definitely not something that was meant to be misleading whatsoever. My existing stage, and this is, I'll offer these to you. The stage for the live music venue is for my members and guests. Our existing area is 16 by 12. The new area, the reason why I'm moving it is to encourage increased dining. My upstairs of Brickhouse, in Brickhouse here is the menu. You guys can peruse this. What I did, we put it on records, and you can see it is fine dining. Not fine dining, but it's definitely dining. It is not a bar, that type of thing. There's appetizers,
Yeah, I ate
sandwiches.
with you twice here in the last couple of weeks.
I would trust it was
So,
good.
It was good. I thought the menus were kind of unique.
Well, that was the whole idea there. One of the things that we're trying to do as well, it's something that with the menus, we're expanding the menu, which I have here. Last year alone, we processed 81,909 checks or tickets for food, okay? And that is, for the majority of, of our patrons, that's what they come in to eat. That's why they go there. As Mr. Ellis indicated, there's definitely, they have a beverage with their meals if they so choose. Many do not, and that is, I would much rather provide a burger or a steak to my members and guests than a bottle of beer any day of the week. The tax situation, hassles, problems, I'd much rather do that, and that's what I'm gearing towards. The expansion is geared towards that. One of the issues we've had.
Let's go back to the stage issue for a minute.
Sure, sure. The new stage or area, I needed to move it away from the upstairs part because my younger crowd enjoys the music and they come in to eat and to drink while they listen to the music. My 30-ish and 40-ish crowd who enjoy coming in, it gets loud for them. It's a small building up there. Those walls, the sound reverberates back and forth. So I needed to move it down and over so I could actually squeeze another hour and a half out of my supper or dinner crowd. A lot of times I think I probably cut my dinner crowd. Appetizers, food of course is open as long as we're open. But people come for proper dining. All the noise and commotion, people coming in and ordering appetizers and this and that, they end up disrupting their dinner, so to speak. So this way I can move that across 2 buildings over, and it's in the back of the one building. I believe it's on the blueprints there. It is, my existing one is 16 by 12. This is going to be 20 by 15. So it is, massive. I think is probably not the best descriptor to use. In that case, Mr. Ellis was correct. I was excited about the idea of saying yes, we're going to offer a bigger, so we can have maybe perhaps better entertainment come in, a better quality of stage, that type of thing. But in terms of being that much bigger than what we have now, it is bigger, but it's not massively bigger from my perspective. There's also some mention of a pool table in there. I have no idea, I have no intention of turning it to a pool hall. I was just thinking that perhaps people may want to enjoy, a game of pool with the thing. I don't have to have that. I'm not sold on anything else. It was just to mention again something that was said, out of enthusiasm. And in fact, the entire interview was something that I don't normally do. I get asked to do interviews quite frequently. I was told it was going to be more towards an economic piece for downtown. I own other businesses and rental properties downtown. I'm very invested in downtown, emotionally, physically, and financially. I work there, live there, and so I want downtown to succeed. I'm proud of the strides that it has done. I don't want to do anything to inhibit that whatsoever. One of the things, talking back to the menu, and one thing that we've geared towards, I do have an issue. Sometimes people come to Brickhouse, they sit at the dining counter, and they don't order a meal right away. They don't order significant amounts of food. Sometimes we're waiting for somebody. But I actually have small menus built up to hand to them as they come in. My staff is instructed, to give a menu when you ask, would you like something to eat? that type of thing. So we definitely push the food when possible, you know, at the dining counter, which is in the front. I've even, you know, we haven't done peanuts, we haven't done pretzels, we haven't done anything to encourage beverage usage, because we want people to order appetizers. We want people to do these things. It's very hard to, you know, you've got to order something if you come here, and we try though. We definitely are making efforts in that arrangement. Even in our new menu, which I have here for your perusal, we increase and add a number of appetizers and even specialty pizza by the slice in order to encourage our patrons, members and guests rather, to eat and dine at the dining counter rather than just have a beer, which does occur, and it's something that we're trying to make strides towards enforcing that. It's difficult.
Wait,
Isn't that one of the rules?
I thought that was the rule from day one.
It is.
And you said, your own statement, you just said, don't have to order food. You just got this.
I didn't say they had to. I didn't say they didn't have to order
You said
food.
they didn't have to order food. You just got this.
I said, I might have been I might have spoke kind of quickly. I said it is difficult to make them order food.
Well, just tell them when they
You know,
first
wait,
get
wait.
in, you have to order food if you want a drink.
I mean, we're
That's
deviating from
pretty easy.
what we agreed to at the very front answer.
Hey, this may be a good time to just go ahead and bring it up. I was in your staff, I have a friend in Jonesboro who was ill. Spent a couple of nights up there. Had the pleasure of dining in your facility and another one. Actually, I went to 3 different facilities while I was up there. As somebody who took a lot of knocks on the head for voting for your place when I did, I was a little disappointed in what I saw in the restaurant. I was in your restaurant for probably an hour and a half, one time, and an hour another time. There were people sitting at your bar, the bar that's up along the wall. They did not have any food in front of them. They were drinking beer. And they sat there, 1 or 2 people, finished their beers, and left. Now, I don't know. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had already ordered and finished. I don't think so. I also observed a young man that came in, young fella, sat down at the bar and ordered a drink. He ordered a beer. He never was brought any food. I was there for another 30 minutes, I guess, and when I left, he was still sitting at the bar, and he had not ordered anything.
Was he watching TV?
I don't know what he was doing, but, you know, you described this place, Doctor, to us when we voted for it as a real nice, fine dining restaurant that you're going to emphasize food. The whole place, though your food was very good, your people were nice, your service was nice. It's nice ambiance, but it appeared to me to be much more of a sports bar kind of look with lots of things going on, with a lot of young people coming in there to get a drink. I went on down the street to another establishment and quite frankly saw the same thing. I am going to recommend to the director and board that we recommended the chairman, he asked the director to write you folks a letter sort of admonishing you for these things, as well as reminding everybody that's got a permit up there, you are not a bar. You are not the 501 club. They were issued under a whole different regime, a whole different atmosphere years ago. You're a private club restaurant. That's what you told us for, you wanted to do. I took a lot of grief for supporting you, so did other members of this board. You got a privilege license. You're in a dry county that is very contentious. Our friend Bob Hester sits back here and tapes these hearings because they are contentious. You got a lot to live up to up there. You're one of the first ones to get a nice permit up there.
When was that law passed?
Well, the law was 8 years ago, but he got his permit a couple of years ago. And I think Piero's was one of the first ones, and, you know, after a lot of dissension. You got something to uphold up there. If you expect your county and your city and your own establishment to continue to grow under the current law, if behavior like this continues, you know, I'll be embarrassed that I voted for the permit. I also fully suspect that if you don't comply with the rules and regulations of this board, that you'll see a larger move over in the legislature to roll the private club law back that says you can't even do this. And then all at once, you know, you're in Dutch. So, I don't know, you seem like a fine fellow. I'm sure you seem to have a lot of exuberance. But you might ought to put a lid on this as to where you're going. You're not the 501, you're not a bar. You came down here and told us you wanted to be a fine restaurant. I quite frankly am going to ask the director to do that, and I'm also going to ask the chairman, maybe recommend our director that he talk to enforcement, and that our enforcement people stop in a little more frequently on you folks up there. Because it seems to me it's like a child stepping off the curb. You're taking a step or two off the curb. Your mom tells you not to cross the street, but you're kind of walking out there on the edge of the curb. So I know this, maybe it's pretty harsh, but coming from somebody who originally supported you, I was a little disappointed.
Well, on top of that, my concern is if he got by some of your concerns, then the other guy's gonna do
You
the
got people
same
walking
thing.
up and down that street now, you know, and if they can get a beer in your place, they get a beer somewhere else, they get a beer somewhere else, and the first time, you got somebody stepping out in front of that fast traffic that Bob Esther points out there. You got a responsibility to those people in this community and to this board that voted for you, Doctor. You know, that's my personal, rather aggressive feeling on this after watching your operation.
Are these detailed plans that you left us?
No.
I saw you, so I figured out
It
the
was,
fault.
it was not in any kind of a mocking fashion whatsoever. Rumors in a small town, they run rampant. All it has to do is with a ceiling feature. I want to it to look like water on the ceiling. I'm gonna use some plexiglass and some glyco, and it just gives a nice little ambiance on the ceiling. That's all it is. It's liquid. There's a place in New York, it's called Liquid Lounge. It's not even, I mean, it's a live music thing. All it does is provide light for the roof. There's nothing alcohol related at all. We hope at all whatsoever.
We had heard rumor that
Oh,
there
there's
was gonna be
ton
a long
Oh, I've
line
heard.
of bear spigots.
Oh, yeah.
16, 18.
What's that?
There'll be a long line of bear on tap spigots.
We are going to, we will be increasing some of our draft beer only as a way to decrease our, overhead in terms of bottled beer, that type of thing. We offer the same types of beers we have on bottle, or we have them on draft. We're not increasing our number of beers, just switching them from bottle to draft to make it, to make it more affordable on us in this difficult economic time. That's, we're not increasing our number of beers whatsoever. In fact, if anything, we're decreasing them.
Dr. Johnson, my concern with this has been, and from the point that y'all started, we've had small issues. We've had some advertising issues and some other things that were just kind of like Mr. Fuller said, stepping out, how much further away from that line am I willing to get? And now we've gotten to the point of what you sent me as your proposed expansion to moving a stage, which that's nowhere in that proposal. It's like you're taking advantage of this office a little bit because it's we're up in Northeast Arkansas, nobody's really gonna mess with us, so we can just kind of we can kind of keep doing what we want to do. And my concern is that you're moving towards a Juanita's, which is a restaurant venue on one side and a bar venue on the other side. I've been in your place. I've been upstairs when a band was playing. They weren't eating. They were drinking and hanging out, and it's a bunch of college kids. They're not up there eating. They're in there drinking. And I guarantee you, Bob Hester, if he walked up here tonight, would tell you that it is a by God bar upstairs. And you do draw in the college crowd, and it's not about eating at night. After about 9 o'clock, you're not about eating. And I don't think I'm wrong when I tell you that. And my concern is that you're taking advantage of us. I want you to succeed. I think that what has happened in downtown Jonesboro is a good thing. My dad has an office down there, and it economically has made it much further than I ever thought it would. But you're making your own lines, and this board and that legislature set rules, and they expect you to follow the rules, which means when you want to do something, when you want to change something, when you want to add something, you have to ask for permission. You can't just do it. You can't just keep expanding. I understand you're competing with like the Electric Cowboy and the 501, but they were under a different legislative scheme. And I brought you back. They granted you the permit, and I wanted this board, instead of one person, they can talk to you about your expansion and how it should be handled, because I think they have that concern. So.
I definitely, I'm apologetic and absolutely I don't take this board for granted at all. And I do, the word privilege is there for a reason, and I do view it as a privilege, and I do share responsibility in that community. I'm a medical provider in the community. I live there, I work there. Trust me, I don't want anything but to hold up to your standards. Michael comes in there, the agent, the enforcement agent, Kendall, he's in there fairly recently and regularly, and to me has nothing but good things to say. And I encourage you to call him, call him and talk to him, call and talk to Chief Yates, ask him about the strides that we've made since we first opened. In the first year we opened, it was rocky, and we learned a lot from that first year. And unfortunately, we learned some things the hard way, but we have learned, and we've showed a good learning curve. I've changed over management. I've hired 44 people since I opened. We were only 2 years old. Yet I haven't hired anybody in the last year.
Do you think it was just a coincidence, my two different situations in place?
No, absolutely not. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. It is a learning process, and
Well, yeah, but do you understand that we can take your license if you can't follow the rules?
Absolutely. And we want to follow the rule. I'm not trying to sidestep anything or get off,
Well, it didn't sound like you were gonna follow the rules, or that you were trying to follow the rules when you said, well, we can't help it if people come in and just order something to drink. Well, you can help it.
I wasn't making any excuses for myself, and I apologize if it sounded like I was. It's a very difficult, I've noticed the same thing in Charlie's and Outback and Godsy's, not letting, this is on me, not on them. They're not here, I am, but at the same time, I'll just make it's done, no matter what happens. Because what happens, unfortunately, if I make that rule, they walk next door to Godsy's.
Well, and Doc, just to interrupt that, and I'm going to call Bob out. You have a target on you. His group and other groups, y'all, Charlie's doesn't have that target. Godsy's does a little bit, but that target's on your head, and I can guarantee you if they walk out and if Godsy's turned into the concerns, then that target is going to shift. But part of the reason you're here is that is a huge target on your head. Everybody's, the calls that I get are, they've picked on you. Sure. And that's a compliment to your success, but it's
Well, you need to fix them all.
well, we do, but there's, we fix what is brought to our attention, and the things that have been brought to our attention, we're trying to fix. But I'm sorry to interrupt.
By the way, I welcome enforcement. Please send Agent Kendall in there as often. Please, I like that. Him there. That's fine with me. And I've spoken with him. All I ask is that everybody gets the. We all want the same rules, and I'm willing. I absolutely will abide by the rules.
Well, how do you intend to fix the situation those situations that I observed personally?
Absolutely nobody, unless they order food or have plans to order food within a 30-minute type of a window, they can't sit there. Unless
You're going to tell people that your serving staff is going to tell people.
my serving staff is going to
Management is
Well,
gonna
actually,
know
put
that.
as I sit here, we put a sign. We were talking about putting a sign on the, no sitting at the dining counter unless you order food. Plan to order food within 30-minute window. That type of thing.
Well, I know there may be some people picking on you, and that's unfortunate. But my recommendation to the chairman here and the director is that all your peers up there are gonna get a little dose of this information. Mr. Langley, I think, will take care of that, and then he will also talk to enforcement again, if you're welcoming in that.
Absolutely.
And I wanna see,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna recommend we see more as a board member.
No, that's fine. I mean, he's a nice guy, he's very fair. I have no issues whatsoever. He's always welcome to force.
You can put on there ABC regulations requires food safety.
Right, and that's what we do.
Blame it on us.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, that's all right.
unfortunately, we
I mean,
do. We
that's
have,
the
when
truth.
we have a 60-year-old, individual who comes in, who says, I want in, we said, where's your driver's license? And she says, I left mine at home. We say, you can't come in. Then they go right next door.
Well, my next question for you is, saying this is what you agreed to, I guess. I guess you agreed to this. Is that gonna change anything you're planning on doing for the expansion?
With regards to,
The money that you've been putting out so far on the expansion?
I'm not sure I know what you're asking.
Well, I think it stated somewhere along the line you'd already spent a certain amount of money. on
Oh, I've already
expansion.
spent $800,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you on that? Are you gonna, decrease your expansion or modify it or any way?
I won't, I don't plan on putting a full table in, that seems to be an issue. I definitely, it's my fault for not, I didn't know that, I have live music, I didn't know if I moved it, it's all one building. I'm not trying to do a bar here and this here. Food is served everywhere, obviously. I mean, that goes without saying, that's part of the rules, this is not the drinking part, this is not the eating part, it's nothing like that, it's designed to be that at all. In fact, there's no other reason for the expansion except to improve, member and guest services, improve the size, we're doubling the size of our kitchen, we're tripling the size of our bathrooms. These are the things that we need addressed.
Well, Doctor, are you gonna be able, what the director addressed here is, everything was about a bunch of kids drinking after 9 o'clock upstairs. Are we gonna be able, an agent or any of us have to walk in and it's 9:30 up there? What's gonna be going on there then? Are they gonna all be eating dinner, or, is it still gonna be a rocking, rolling kind of atmosphere that the director seemed to see up there? You're obviously making changes to promote more business, but, a bunch of kids upstairs, or a bunch of kids upstairs not being able to drink, young people anyway, that doesn't necessarily promote more drinking business. How does that all lie?
When you talk about ordering the tacos,
Chips and dip.
chips and dips, and 15 people feeding off of it, a dozen. We're talking about individual sales.
Right. And, and I definitely understand your concerns. We're not trying to be the election cowboy. I don't want that scene. That's where people go if they just want to drink and do whatever. That's fine. I understand the 501, and they're under a whole different type of thing. If there are people there, to answer your question directly, if there are people there at 9:30 and they're listening to music, the whole idea is that they had come in, they had eaten something. And they may be finished with their
Had
meal.
dinner,
They may be finished with their
and-
meal. I can't promise you if you
Yeah.
walk in, they'll be
I understand.
actively putting food in their mouth.
Yeah.
I'm not being sarcastic, at least.
I know
I'm
you're
just
not.
saying,
I know
I
you.
can't, I want to be completely transparent here. But at the same time, they may have eaten earlier, and now they're enjoying the live music.
understand that.
And I don't.
We understand that part of it,
So but I don't want to commit to something that if you walk
Can't
in,
do that.
there might be people listening to music without food in their mouths.
I don't think that we're trying to take that away, but it's just like the people, you're crowded enough that there could be 10 people sitting at the bar, but they're waiting to be seated, so all they're doing is drinking. I understand.
I understand that, but how do you separate yourself from people that are not doing nothing but coming here to drink?
They had to
ABC
take the
rules,
order.
ABC rules stipulate you must eat.
We'll
Talk about it later.
one, we can correct that. Two, it's a matter of, it is a matter of enforcement. He knows, Agent Kendall, I can tell you, from this, after hearing from y'all, there will be other agents that they won't have any earthly idea who they are. they're gonna be going in there doing undercover work that hadn't been done, and,
Apparently they got married, they didn't recognize Ron anymore.
Nobody recognized it.
but it's a situation of, we can make some address to that, and it won't just be the Brickhouse. We'll take Mr. Fuller's request and handle the whole area and do that. Their situation, what I don't wanna see, and we'll have to figure it out, is the guy coming in at 9 or 10 o'clock and going, here's my $5, I'm going to listen to the band, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna drink all I want to. That's what my concern is, and that's what we don't need. I mean, if you've been in there and you've eaten, and you've got a band playing, you wanna stay and dance and listen, you've done what is expected of you, but you can't just be going in there and running it as a bar.
$5 cover charge down and give somebody a tip and say, I'm gonna sit here for the next 2 or 3 hours.
Now,
Right, that's not acceptable.
within my request, and I hope the board will back me up on this, this is Wednesday. By Monday, we need a detailed setup of what your expansion is. I mean, you've got it here with you, but I mean, unless you're gonna leave it, but I mean, I need it for my files.
Yeah, no, I brought an extra copy, and I'll go through. If you have any questions.
Well, is it complete?
These are.
Is comfortable with, you can look, I mean, JJ's the one that was in the band business and those types of things. I think JJ could look at a drawing and tell you, that's really just a music venue, and it doesn't have any intention of being anything else. And I think the normal eye could, and JJ can, I may be wrong, but, you know, it's.
So the expansion is contingent upon the final review of these plans
Well,
and specs.
I mean, yeah,
Or
he
any
needs-
other information that we may need to make that decision.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know, it's 80% complete.
Well, I understand that. We're not trying to get completely in
I
the
don't
way.
know.
I guess part of what, the reason why the stage came to come into play, the stage is clearly visible in the picture right there. And so I just assumed since it was approved that there wasn't any, and that's what I was looking for. I thought that it was clearly visible right there, and it is.
But it doesn't indicate that it's a stage of any kind or what your use is gonna be for it, because it's not the current. It's
Well,
not currently in
there's a
use.
pull-down screen. We're gonna show movies there on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. We will have some live music there on the weekends. There's another picture of it there. Here is a detailed explanation of what the balcony will look like, and as well as the roof terrace right here. And that fits the plans that you have in your hands to a T. There's nothing, in fact, it's actually smaller than I had written on here that you guys had already previously approved. I'm not stepping out on anything or doing anything differently construction-wise than what I wouldn't have done this otherwise if I wouldn't have had your
And
approval.
it's not so much the construction, you know, what piqued my interest was what was gonna happen in the areas with which it was described, you know. When you read this article, the things that come to my mind, obviously was the beer garden. The second was this large stage. I mean, it sounds like you're putting in a full music venue as opposed to, we're gonna have music and it's for the enjoyment of the people who are in here, eating, and if they wanna remain afterwards and enjoy the music. That's what it, so.
Okay, here's what, if we take this approach to this. That, there's no need us bringing this back up next month and letting this thing lay out there for 30 days. That since it has been called back up for review, that we, have Dr. Johnson provide to the director any detailed plans that are available, any additional information that the director may need to make a decision on these plans, and then that he have the authority to go ahead and approve these plans and just report back to us next month. So we're not holding the doctor up, we're not stopping construction.
That sounds good.
That, you know, I think he probably has put us a little better at ease on what a beer garden is. An enormous stage is not really in my mind an enormous stage.
Reassurances were.
A liquid lounge is not what I thought it was gonna be. Yes. And
I will take care of it. We will contact all all of them by letter, by agent, hand-delivered letter, by agent, and then I will talk to Director Kirkland and somewhere, and without giving them any notice, you will see some undercover work going
We
on.
certainly need some reassurance that
Yes.
this is not gonna be a drinking
Well, that's not the way we trade it. The way we trade it was he was building a restaurant that alcohol was an amenity to, not a bar that food was an amenity to. That's the way we trade it.
Right, but I'm just telling you, if he chooses to do different, then the next guy's gonna decide he can do it too.
And we had a little bit of that up there. And that place went out of business, and that's the only reason that they're probably not sitting there too.
Okay, I don't think this needs a formal
Yep.
motion or anything else. We'll just, if that's acceptable to everybody, we'll do that.
You bet. Thanks.
Dr. Johnson, you
Take care.
thank you, thank you, Yusuf, for coming down and visiting with us. Mr. Hester, appreciate you coming out as always.
My pleasure.
I'll give you a little.
The next case, set for 11 o'clock, is appeal by the opposition of a private club permit that was granted to Mr. Chad A. Holyfield, Upper Crust of Jonesboro, Inc. It was granted on November 20th, 2009. It was appealed by Mr. Hester. Is that right, Paul?
Correct.
Okay. And let the record reflect that the applicant, Mr. Holyfield, is present today. He is represented by Mr. James C. Clark. And the person that has appealed the decision of the board, Mr. Bob Hester, is present today. And Mr. Hester is represented by Mr. Paul Schmidt, Jr. JC, if you and Mr. Smith would have your witnesses stand up at this time, please be sworn in. Anybody's going to testify?
We may have one other that's not here. We'll swear them in when they get here.
Swear them in later.
Raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you give before this board today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. Have a seat.
Now I'm going to ask your client to speak up.
Now, let me ask you a question here. Now, this was approved by the director.
Yes. It's approved by the director. It was appealed by the opposition, Mr. Hester. So that means that it is, once again, this is a hearing de novo before this board. So it goes just like in the regular order. Mr. Clark's client has to get on, tell you why.
Prior to, no, not right now. I'm gonna let you have an opportunity to think about your answer. Okay, all right, let's go.
I'm gonna pass the file over here to Mr. Ellis. Excuse me.
Mr. Chairman, one thing I wanted to make sure that the record is have acknowledged by the commission that the application that was filed will contain the Schedule A, criminal background check, the authority to release information, the entertainment sheet, floor plan, the membership list, photographs, the articles of the corporation amendments, the minutes of the corporation, the bylaws, the lease agreement, and the annual report are all part of the record and are evidence in this hearing and previously filed.
That's correct.
That I will not have to reintroduce those again by submitting an application and asking that they be admitted into evidence.
Do you have a copy of each of those for me?
I can give you a copy of our application.
Can you give each of y'all's exhibits?
Yeah.
I just need, because I
Yeah.
probably would have cross-examined on
Yeah,
each one.
but you have no objection to that being entered into evidence. The application has been filed with the commission. Is it part of the record? It is. All right. There's a copy of it. This is a copy of what we filed. And what we reviewed. All right. The first and only witness I have is Chad Holyfield. Mr. Holyfield, what is your name and address?
Chad Aaron Holyfield.
Are you employed as general manager of a trust of Jonesboro, Inc.? What is the private club's address?
3120-2 Shells Drive, Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Okay. Are you also an officer in the director of the private club.
Yes.
Prior to being an employee of the club, where did you work for the past 5 years?
Upper Crust Pizza.
Is that a different entity than the nonprofit private club?
Yes.
So you have or a business corporation that exists in another part of Jonesboro, is that correct?
Right.
It does not sell alcohol?
No, no. It's been on 7 years.
Did you attend the seminar conducted by Mr. Bennett whereby you were instructed on the law?
Yes, sir.
I think you previously told the commission this, but when would you presently have a private club permit?
Yes.
When was that permit issued to you?
In March.
Of this year? Okay. Since its issuance, have you operated the private club in accordance with the ABC regulations?
Yes.
Since acquiring the permit, have you been cited by the ABC enforcement for any violations of those regulations?
Not at all.
Since acquiring the permit, have the police, or sheriff department, or other policing agencies had to come to your business based upon any complaints or anything like that? All right. Who is Michael Kendall?
What was it? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I'm going too
sorry.
fast. I apologize.
Pardon me?
Did it pick up?
Did you answer that question?
Don't do that.
No.
That will-
Oh, I'm sorry.
That will garner.
Mr. Ellis, let me go back. I guess the question was, since issues of the permit, have you operated the club in accordance with regulations?
Yes.
Have you, since the issuance of the permits, have you been cited for any ABC violation? Since acquiring the permit, have the police or other policing agencies in Jonesboro and Craighead County come to your office, come to the club to answer any complaints or violations? All right. Who is Michael Kendall?
He's our local ABC enforcer.
Once you got the permit, did you have Mr. Kendall address your?
Yes.
What was
Came
the
in.
purpose of that address?
Remember to address who?
Address the members of his club, not the
We had
members,
him
but
come
the
in.
employees of the club,
Okay, staff.
the staff.
We'll kind of do a little, he has a pretty good thing. He's a pretty intimidating man too, so he comes in and gives his, basically, what our responsibilities and liabilities and what can happen. He actually handcuffed one of the guys working for us just to show. He had some handcuffs on him all the time.
And did you appreciate him
Yes.
that as
Oh,
part
I
of
think
your
Mr.
training?
Kendall's great. I feel like I can call him.
Do you consider Mr. Kendall the source of information and the source of alcohol revenue?
He's great.
Do you intend to use Mr. Kendall in making sure you're always in compliance?
Yes.
Has he indicated that he's willing to always advise you in that regard? All right. Do you intend to operate the private club in a manner that's in full compliance with the laws and regulations controlling dispensing of alcohol beverages? Is Upper Crust of Jonesboro a nonprofit corporation existing under the laws of the state of Arkansas that came into existence on November 14th, 2006, which was more than 1 year before your application being filed? Is a copy of those articles of incorporation and amendments part of the application that has been submitted and accepted into evidence in this hearing?
What was the date of the?
It was formed November 14th, 2006.
And the name of the corporation, nonprofit is Upper Crust Jonesboro Inc.
That is correct. Yes. Are the current directors and officers of the nonprofit yourself, your wife Stephanie Holyfield, and Brandy Harrison?
Yes.
Do you all reside in Craighead County?
Yes.
Did y'all become directors of this in September of '09?
Yes.
Okay. At the time of the filing of the ABC application, did the nonprofit corporation have in excess of 100 members?
Yes.
Was the membership list evidencing the more than 100 members part of your application that has been accepted into evidence of this proceeding?
Do you have 100 members today? Do you have an excess of 100?
You do have an excess of 100 members?
Yes.
That is correct. All right. Do you have a lease for the space to be occupied by the private club?
Yes.
Is a copy of that written lease attached to your application, which has been accepted into evidence in this hearing? Yes. Now, is the total space of the private club a private club?
Yes.
Totally, all right. Is it correct to say that no part of the net revenues of the club are for the benefit of its members except for the payment of bona fide expenses?
Yes.
You, at the end of the year, you're not paying any dividends to officers, directors, or other, or members?
No.
Right, good. All of the net revenues after expenses, are they intended to be retained by the club and used by it for its nonprofit purpose? I would then like to hand you what is part of the application, which I think here at the ABC is referred to as the entertainment sheet. And I'm gonna give a copy to, and this entertainment sheet, Mr. Chairman, as part of the application has already been introduced to this.
Is that this document here?
That is that. That's
Okay,
correct.
thank you. Okay, in minutes. Good.
Just, the bigger danger is tripping over the wires.
And although it's already in the, record.
We're still gonna mark this as
All right.
applicant's exhibit number
Let me
one.
have it. Oh, I'm sorry. That's all right. That's all right. No, I had the file.
There you go. All right. And you have before you what we call the entertainment sheet, which specifies what your nonprofit purposes are for. Is that correct? Is one of the nonprofit purposes of your private club to provide casual dining and social interaction for club members and guests?
Yes.
Is it true that this is a nonprofit corporation that provides dining services solely for its members and guests?
Yes.
This is not a public restaurant?
No, it's not.
All right. How many will the private club seat for dining?
100.
All right. How many people are employed in the private club?
23.
Are these new jobs in Jonesboro that only came into existence once you opened your business in March?
Yes.
Without the club being open, these jobs would not exist? All right. What are the hours of operation of the private club?
11 to 10, Monday through Thursday. Or actually Sunday through Thursday, and then on the weekend, Friday and Saturday at 11 to 11.
Okay. What is the, tell us the, what's the type of property that surrounds the private club?
It's commercial. Surrounds us, and
Yeah.
we list the names.
Yeah, you can find
Yeah, the
it.
bowling alley is, when you pull into Shelby, our road there, it's the bowling alley to the right, Cobblestone, which is the place we got our rock and stuff, the fireplace, and then, gutter insulation place that's next, and then right behind us was a bank.
But there's no residential
No,
area
no, no, no.
within that
Not
area? All right.
Chad, let me
Yes.
interject a question here. In looking back over the file when we granted this permit, it seems other than just objections to alcohol, that one of the large concerns was that this was a really busy intersection, that lots of traffic and stuff like that. Have you had any wrecks out there on your property, in front of your property, people pulling
You
out?
have to take Shelby to actually get to us, and then it's Parker Road, and then it comes down to Caraway. That's not our.
So you're not on the main?
No, we're off the.
Well, then, my question still stands. That was, when you look at the file, that was one of the original objections that, I guess maybe it was that that street entered into it. Have there been any wrecks out there that are in your place, attributable to your place, anything like that?
No, I think it's actually perfect. Really, for me, I mean, it's a kind of a dead end. You pull in to go there.
I see.
But I like that road. I mean, that's just a good road, Parker. But then Shelby comes down, the bowling alley, we all kind of.
Are you saying that you're located on a dead-end street?
Yes.
So there will not be traffic going,
No.
Going-
It's slow traffic. It's not a.
people
it's not a
coming,
55-mile-an-hour zone.
people coming down that road will either be coming to your location or they will be coming to some other business located next to you.
Right.
It's not a thoroughfare that will take them on either east, west, north, or south, whichever way that's going to go.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I noticed one comment. maintain a social track as members and guests, including food and beverage service. There will be no mild bans or other manufacturing. So
That's correct. That's correct. All right. Do you have adequate parking for your members and guests? Yes. All right. Are the parking areas well lit? Yes. Besides the area comprising your parking lot, do you have permission from the adjoining landowners, if you needed to park on their property, that you could do so? I would like to show you, and I will introduce this into evidence. Excuse me.
Mr. Holyfield, how many people did you say would be seated in your restaurant?
It was 154, but it's right around that. Give or
About
take a
150
seat.
or so?
Yes, I'll say 150 just because we have 154 chairs, at least 3 of them. So
Approximately 150.
All right. You had indicated that there's a bowling alley that's located next to your premises. Has the bowling alley given you permission to park cars if necessary in the on their parking spaces?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you to identify this letter, tell the commission what it is.
It's the lease agreement between us and the bowling alley.
So you have a lease agreement between yourself and the bowling alley to park additional cars over there if necessary.
Yes.
And we would like to introduce this into evidence.
Okay, mark the exhibit, applicant's exhibit number 2. The agreement between Upper Crust Pizza and Jonesboro Bowling Center LLC.
Is your parking all surface parking, or off the street?
Yes.
You have
it's off the
adequate
street.
parking?
Yes, we have.
Totally off the street?
Kind of wraps around like our building is a U would kind of come around, and then we have across the street the bowling alley. Cobblestone actually is moving. They moved a large portion of their parking lot to allow us more parking because they're great neighbors. We actually do a lot of business between us. And then, let's say we have.
Is another one of your neighbors, Mr. Thrasher, known as Sunset Jonesboro LLC? Do you have an agreement, a lease agreement with that gentleman?
Yes.
To allow you to park if necessary?
Yes.
I'd like to ask, is that a copy of that agreement that you have?
Yes.
Copy to the lease. And we would like to introduce this as applicant's exhibit 3. Parking agreement between the applicant and Sunset Jonesboro LLC. All right. You had told the commission that I guess another one of your neighbors is Cobblestone and Brick LLC.
Yes.
Have Cobblestone and Brick entered into a lease with you to allow you to park additional cars in the event they're necessary?
Yes.
Have they also written letters in support of your existence at your present location? Can you identify what I am showing you as copies of those letters?
A letter from Carolyn Cobble.
Yes. Are there 3 letters there?
Yes, sir. 3.
What are their dates?
May 12th, 2010, July 13th, 2010, July 13th.
All right.
Are those from separate people or the same person?
Same firm, as Cobblestone and Brick LLC, which is located adjacent. One of which the lease agreement that they have with you to allow you to park additional. I'd like to present this. And I'd like to have this introduced as
Collectively number 5.
That is correct.
Four, okay. All right, we have the letters in support as well as the parking.
Letters in
Okay,
support.
that's gonna be number 4.
All right, letters in support as well as the parking lease.
Number 4.
All right.
Okay.
do you foresee a time in which the number of your parking spaces you have available will not be sufficient for your members and guests? All right? All right, now, we will, only in our dreams would that be now, I want you to go back to our, what has been referred to as the entertainment sheet, and look at items A, B, and C. Or do these represent nonprofit purposes other than fine dining and providing restaurant and food services to your members? Or these other purposes for which you are?
Yes.
All right. One of them is listed as an annual scholarship will be awarded to an employee of the private club who attends Arkansas State University. Which I would like to show you a document and ask that you identify this document, and then I would like for you to explain to the commission the program for giving scholarships to employees at Upper. What is this that you're looking at?
Scholarship program for Upper.
Would you explain it to the program that you have in place to the commission, please?
Yes. Basically, we want to be able to give a scholarship to an employee that meets the criteria that we have, and after it would actually be the spring is when we're looking to do it. This coming term, I guess. And the student will have to have a minimum of a 3.0, ACT score of 19 or higher. The student will be a high moral character and will be a role model for fellow students. The students will be enthusiastic about giving back to the community and also adopting academic excellence.
And as you indicated, you intend to award this scholarship for the spring semester.
Yes, for the spring, that's what we have set up.
And who within the club will make that decision on who qualifies?
It'd actually be myself, my wife, Randy, and then also a team that I have that I trust. My father.
So is that gonna be the board of directors or the nonprofit corporation?
The board of directors.
Plus
The
others.
board of directors will make this decision.
The board of directors will make that decision.
Based on some of the decisions too from.
But what we have before the commission is the application that a prospective student would file with Upper Crust to determine, and you will select from one of those applicants. We would like, the applicant would like to introduce this into evidence.
This is annual?
It's an annual.
Semester. We'll
Per
actually do it
semester,
every
every
semester.
semester.
But it can't start until spring. You have to work for us for years.
Every
Yeah,
semester.
yeah, it's great actually. Love it.
All right.
Now, obviously, scholarships for college is what we're
Right,
talking about.
it's actually
here.
50%, we'll pay 50% of their cost.
And I think,
Primarily
isn't it
Arkansas State.
It's limited to Arkansas State, is that correct? Arkansas State, the local college.
It is for a scholarship to Arkansas State.
Right.
Correct.
All right, okay.
But it will be, they will have to keep that up, we're not gonna give it to them every semester, but they can't keep it up, we want to be able to choose other people.
But Mr. Ellis wants to be paying 50% of their
Right, yeah,
tuition.
their tuition.
Of their tuition. And you currently have 40 people working for you. And how many of those right now are they students? Half are college age? All right. Item B, participate in and support the Northeast Arkansas Humane Society. Would you explain, since you have had your permit, have you been providing any services to the Northeast Arkansas Humane Society? And if so, explain what you have been doing.
Yes, we actually have a really good relationship with the Humane Society. That's somebody we've always, if you have a pet, you know how that is, but it's, we've given we're a sponsor for them, we've given $1,000 for one of their events, and then also we bought some stethoscopes for them, truck order, over $300 of bleach, cleaning supplies, and then we also fill that as they run low and stuff. They know they can call us anytime they want.
I would like to present to you a letter dated July 15th from the Northeast Arkansas Humane Society and tell the commission, is this a letter in support and what are the attachments?
It is a.
You may read it.
Okay. We are writing